Welcome back to another episode of The Supernaturals, hosted by our favorites, SPN Productions.
Yes.
You like that?
All right. Yeah. Little change up.
You like that?
For sure.
We're back. It's still cult month, baby.
Yeah. This is the third
and final.
No.
Not final episode, final cult.
Yes. Third episode of Cult Month. Don't worry. There's another one. We do have our very first 2-part episode of The Supernaturals. We've never done one of those before.
Well, if you count the clowns from Gacy, kind of 2 parts.
Yeah, but kind of not really, though.
True. It was separate topics, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was like we did clowns, right?
Yeah.
And then we did Gacy, and then we went into clowns.
Right. You just kind of led into it.
It's kind of like a similar topic, right?
Right.
But it's not the same story.
Yeah.
This is, in fact, our first true 2-part episode because it is the same story. So be sure to tune in next week for the conclusion of this riveting episode of Cult Month.
Yes.
And what better way, okay. I was sitting here when I was looking through the cults. I was like, what cults would be kind of nice here? I had a bunch picked out. And we obviously, I mean, if you saw the title, you probably know, we obviously had to talk about People's Temple and Jim Jones, who's one of the worst cult leaders,
some bad things
I've ever seen in my entire life. And I like cults. So, I mean, I like the...
they're interesting.
Yeah, the whole point of why we're doing this Cult Month is because they're fascinating.
Yeah.
I mean, they really are. So, yeah, this guy, he's one of the worst ones I've ever seen. And obviously, if you know the story, we're going to dive a little bit deeper into that. But this episode itself, we're going to talk about his life leading up to where he kind of created People's Temple. And I will say I didn't know any of this. And it's oof.
But what better way to capitalize on the theme of this season, right?
Yeah.
To keep it rolling of brain manipulation.
Yeah, the season has been a very weird season, I would say, because it's mystic, it's coincidence, it's what's your reality? It's also like the mind, the brain, manipulation, all that crazy shit.
And then a sprinkle of some of our favorites.
Honestly, if we're talking about manipulation, I should just talk about my fucking ex situation, but
someone's going through it.
No, that was a little joke. But anyway, yes, the point is, yeah, it's a pretty cool, I think, theme of the season. I mean, obviously not all the episodes are like that, but we have,
but it sparks conversation.
30 of them. So, but the majority of them are based around this kind of idea. So yeah, it's pretty cool. We hope you guys are enjoying it. Yeah. So, I mean, shit. Well, first and foremost, let's kind of recap the first 2 cults.
Right. We talked about Heaven's Gate first episode.
Yes.
Don't remember. Now you do. They were waiting for the comet.
The Hale-Bopp comet.
Yeah. And it ended in a
mass suicide.
Yeah.
Or what do the kids call it? Unaliving.
Yeah. Whatever you want to call it. A tragedy, to say the least.
Yes, it was tragic.
And not only for the people that were involved, but the people that left and then got back involved. Right.
And even the people who left and then felt guilty about not being a part of their final ascension, as they called it.
Right.
And then they proceeded to off themselves, just in a cabin.
Yeah. Crazy.
And stuff, the weirdest thing. But
crazy story.
Wild manipulation for sure. If you can get a whole bunch of people to.
And this was just under the influence of saying that you were Jesus.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And even
you were the Messiah.
What's her face? The
Bonnie?
lady. Bonnie. Yes. Yeah. Thank you. Her and what's his name? Doe. But what the fuck is his actual name?
Marshall.
Is it Marshall?
I think it's Marshall.
Yeah, I think it's Marshall. I think you're right. So both of them, yeah, Bonnie and Marshall. Yes. So the 2 of them, they said that they were a part of the Book of Revelations or whatever. They saw the whole thing, and that they went around being called the 2, and that they know how the world ends and that they're being called to a higher power. And then she gets cancer and dies,
I know.
which causes a lot of people to lose faith in the whole idea because she wasn't supposed to die. And then all of a sudden, like the fact that Marshall kind of cut off the cult and then said, okay, no sex, no outside time, like no, like really turned it into like a strict organization.
Yeah, it had big rules.
Yeah. And then they just all killed themselves and then that was it. So crazy that you can just manipulate people like that. And then we move on to the second one where
you have this crazy guy
who looks like Jesus,
who was not in fact Jesus, and manipulated people through convincing under the influence.
Yeah.
Big time.
It essentially, from the whole Charles Manson episode that we did, the vibe I got was like he just took advantage of the kind of hippie
that we're looking for a better life.
Yeah. The whole like hippie culture. And then he gave them a purpose
and a place to stay
and a place to live, eat, you know, all that stuff and be hippies.
Talk about manipulating people.
I mean, just give them a good life and then people will probably do it.
I mean, it's like that Rick and Morty episode, right? When the big heads come in for the singing competition and all of a sudden they're like, this is the new God. And they're like tricking people into thinking that like Beth and Jerry are bad people. And like just string them up to balloons. It's crazy. Anyway, getting back to the Manson part of it. Right? Manipulating people under the influence and then convincing them to rid people that is more about kind of your ideology, right? He thought there was going to be a race war. He convinced these people that that was going to happen. And the only way to survive would be kill off people so that you're saved when that time comes. And they killed some pretty famous people.
Sharon Tate specifically.
Big time. So it's so crazy that these cults can just brainwash people.
So that's crazy. Both of those are crazy. This, on the other hand, is like another level of crazy.
And we're in store for it.
So, I mean, shit, do you have anything you want to say before we dive into this? Honestly, this feels like this is going to feel like we're doing Dahmer again.
I know bits and pieces of this story, but I don't know like the full thing. So I'm pretty nervous, anxious, but kind of excited to hear about the story.
It is a wild ride for sure. So.
And I'm assuming that you are too.
People's Temple. If you don't know People's Temple, then you are in for one hell of a ride. This cult is responsible for one of, if not the most heinous crime in cult history. We'll discuss that later. Honestly, in the next episode. But first, we need to talk about the cult's leader and founder, Jim Jones. Born on May 13th, 1931, Jones grew up in the rural town of Crete, Indiana.
Unlucky number 13.
Yes. His mother was named Lynetta, and his father was named James. James was a disabled World War I veteran who couldn't breathe due to a chemical weapons attack, meaning gas. Unfortunately, the military's pension for James's injuries wasn't really enough to live off of, so James spent as much time as he could helping around the neighborhood, specifically road repair projects. Things only worsened for the family when the Great Depression struck and the Jones family was evicted from their home. This caused major tension between Lynetta and James, obviously, and the family had to turn to relatives for help. The relatives brought the Jones family they bought them a small shack to live in Lynn, a nearby town. The shack, unfortunately, did not have electric or plumbing and was, for a lack of better words, a real shithole.
Honestly, kind of real life scenario here. Kind of relating to our lives a bit. At least in today's age, it felt like living without power was so hard. it kind of sucked.
Yeah.
Obviously, different time,
Yeah.
different things, but we've been without power now the last 3 days.
Yes.
3 nights, really.
Yes.
And that's just gotta suck. Like, no plumbing, no power. Like, that's a shitty living situation.
Yeah. That sucks.
Obviously, that's gonna rise or get some tension.
Oh, yeah.
That's it's probably not fun.
And no plumbing either. Like, where are you going to go drop a deuce?
You gotta do it in the woods.
In the park.
maybe.
Yeah, so this home was actually where little Jim Jones grew up. So you can say that's kind of pretty, that's already, you're given a pretty shit hand.
So did the mother and father stay together through that time? Or are we going to get to that?
We're literally about to get to that.
Okay, I'm jumping ahead. I always do. I just like...
No, I get it because those are fair questions.
Yeah.
Apparently, Lynetta rejected her son. Whether that be due to her financial stress or unhappiness with her marriage, who could say? But regardless, with a sick father and an unloving mother, little Jim had a bunch of issues. For example, he would often be left unsupervised and would leave the shack by himself and would often do this naked. Fair. James got a job on a farm, but was hospitalized multiple times due to his health deteriorating at a quick rate. The relatives that were helping the family noticed the distance in Lynetta's motherly love and informed her that they would cut off their financial help if she did not get a job and help pay. Little Jim was often taken by the women of the town of Lynn. He was cared for and given clothes, food, and even a place to sleep sometimes. But the one thing they showed him that his parents didn't was religion. So, crazy. Any thoughts on that? That was the first little piece.
A little bit of a troubling little childhood right
well,
there.
It just seems like a little, like he's like a troublemaker.
Yeah, there's some tension, but he's also like, it seems like he's loved. He's taken care of, he's given a place to stay when maybe things go wrong.
Yeah. Now, this is crazy.
Might not be all bad right now.
Yeah. I mean, it's a shitty living situation, but it's nothing that we've heard stories of people who have gotten out of worse.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So,
yeah.
Nothing horrible. I mean, it's horrible, but it's nothing like too crazy. Because as far as I could tell, they weren't violent towards him. So that's one thing. Jim Jones's path to religion. Jones was brought to a local church and met with a pastor. However, the pastor's wife, a woman by the name of Myrtle Kennedy, grew attached to little Jim. She gave him a Bible and helped him study. She guided little Jim to become a great student of the cross, and by the time he was a little bit older, he was constantly attending church. He even got baptized at almost every church in town. I just want to point out, that's kind of weird, though.
Yeah, you only should be baptized one time in one church.
Keep that in mind. His mother, Lynetta, actually caught little Jim pretending to be a pastor at a church, and she grew disturbed because of the way he did it and the passion that he showed. She therefore attempted to stop him from attending church service at all. However, that did not work. In fact, it caused Jim's passion into religion to grow even deeper. His neighbors expressed their sadness for Jim Jones's situation, but they also noticed his strange behavior. They said that he was a strange boy who was always fascinated by religion and by death. Little Jim went on to collect roadkill. Then he would take the dead animal to a local casket manufacturer.
Here we go.
Where he would hold funerals for the animals.
That's kind of nice.
He attempted to get his friends to join him in these funerals, but obviously nobody showed up.
That's a little weird, I'd say.
It's like, hey, man, Ralph over here.
Caught some roadkill.
No, you just, Ralph over here, got a funeral for him later. Oh, who's Ralph, man? One of your buddies? This is a dead raccoon.
Picked him up on the side of the street.
Yeah, man, I have a thing. Maybe I can push it back.
It's like, I'll get back to you on that.
So things got even weirder when one of the neighbors caught little Jim grabbing an alive cat and then killing it with a knife so that he could hold a funeral.
That's serial killer vibes right there.
Yeah, there you go. I said it gives me Dahmer vibes.
Yeah.
So
It always starts with freaking kill. Like
cats,
animals.
animals, and
think of Michael Myers, right? What does he start killing first? Like his pet rats and stuff.
I was gonna say his sister, but
Well, he killed animals, at least in the Rob Zombie film.
Yeah.
My personal favorite.
yeah.
Shout out Rob Zombie. great vision on that
Yes,
movie.
but it does always seem to.
It always leads to people.
Yeah,
It does. It's just it's a common sign.
Yeah. So little Jim also claimed that he had superpowers. He said he could fly and attempted to demonstrate his abilities by jumping off of a roof. Obviously, he couldn't fly, and he ended up breaking his arm.
Stupidity at its best right there.
He would also lead fellow classmates of his to dangerous situations, and when he was confronted about them, Jim would say that he was led to do that by, quote, the angel of death. On top of that all, Jim's behavior grew horrible. He was constantly swearing, even when greeting people. He would say, quote, "Good morning, you son of a bitch."
Sorry, it's kind of funny.
He also partook in a bunch of pranks.
Good morning, you little fucker.
Oh, man. Yeah. He also partook in a bunch of pranks, one being that he replaced holy water with his own urine at a church.
Oh, God. That's crossing the line a little bit.
Yeah, you can tell he's kind of getting like
weird.
Weird. This man needs his ass beat. You know, like that's really what it.
Put in check real quick.
It's like, look, I don't really believe in like physical violence and stuff. Well, okay, that's not true, but I don't really, to a certain extent, I don't believe that like
situational.
Yeah, I think that, you know, if a guy is being an asshole, like we all know that one guy who just needs his ass whooped and then he'll be fine then after that. You know, it's like you got to get humbled. So Lynette would often beat little Jim with a belt as punishment for his behavior, but that wouldn't stop him. This came as he got worse. So she didn't do it when he was a child, but started doing it as he was growing up. So like, I would say like, what's the, like, not infant, not child. What's in between child and
toddler?
No, what's in between like a child and like a teen?
Like a preteen?
Yeah, I guess you could say that. Yeah, he was getting his ass beat then. So
like around a 10, 11-year-old.
Yeah. So, but again, that wouldn't stop his, little antics. So in his youth, Jim actually became an avid reader of Karl Marx, Joseph Stalin, and even Adolf Hitler.
Oh, God.
So, all of those are...
It's kind of weird to say, but it seemed like he was born to be a leader. It just turned out to be in the sense of being a terrible, terrible leader.
We'll get into that.
Yeah. I mean, he's reading these books. He's trying to preach to people like, you're a speaker, you're a leader. Like, that's what those types of people do, right?
It's just weird.
It's an observation.
It's just weird. It is crazy. I kind of like analyze this shit in a second. So as World War II arrived, Jim became fascinated with the Nazi Party and Hitler's total power, which honestly makes a shit ton of sense later, as you just pointed out.
Yeah.
He even attempted to be a dictator to other kids in his class. He would beat them if they did not follow his lead.
So learning from your parents that getting beat and then doing it to other kids, probably not the best. But also, how are you supposed to know as a parent back in the day? Everyone got their ass beat with a ruler or something, a belt.
Mm-hmm. So, one of his friends recalled that he was with Jim when they saw a bus full of German prisoners of war driving by. And Jim actually yelled out, "Hail Hitler," while giving the Nazi salute to the bus.
Interesting. Okay.
So kind of whack. Jones was interviewed much later in life. This is way later. But he did have an interesting thing to say about his childhood. And the quote is as follows. "I was ready to kill by the end of the 3rd grade. I mean, I was so aggressive and hostile. I was ready to kill. Nobody gave me love, any understanding. In those days, a parent was supposed to go with a child to school functions. There was some kind of school performance and everybody's parents were there but mine. I'm standing there alone. Always was alone." End quote.
It's quite sad, actually.
It is, but then you
also,
can't
like,
take a negative and
No.
do another negative and think that it's
that
you
never
know what
works.
I mean?
Never works. But Ready to Kill by the third grade is crazy.
Yeah, it is wild. I know. When I was in third grade, I was just playing like
My
football
Nintendo games.
Yeah. Exactly. So some crazy shit. But all right. Marriage.
Someone married this guy. Must have like S&M or something.
So all right. So there's one really important piece to Jim's life, and that was his marriage. Jim's parents ended up getting divorced in 1945, and he actually moved to Richmond, Indiana with his mom, where he worked as a nurse in a local hospital. He apparently had disturbing behavior to fellow employees and even patients, but Jim was highly regarded by these senior officials. But during his time at the hospital is where he met a woman and fellow nurse, Marceline Baldwin. Shortly after, Jones actually moved to the town of Bloomington, Indiana in November of 1948. There, he went to Indiana University at Bloomington, where he aspired to become a doctor. But once he discovered he was not into it, he changed his major, and during his time in school, he had actually become extremely fascinated with fascism. Not just the basics either, but the radical aspects of it. So, dude's still doing his shit. But while Jim continued his studies, his relationship with Marceline not only continued, but blossomed, and the two got married in 1949. They bought a home in Bloomington, and Marceline worked at a local hospital while Jim finished his schooling. While the two seemed like a happy couple, apparently they constantly argued about religion. She was a Methodist, and he emotionally and psychologically abused Marceline for her choice in religion. It was even said that while Jim would visit church not once, but multiple times a week, he pressured Marceline to become an atheist in private. So, why would he be so interested in religion if he was secretly an atheist? That's an interesting thing to say for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I analyze this in a second. I want to say it so bad right now, but there's some more. So, poor old Jim was also super insecure. He constantly needed words of affirmation by Marceline and needed to test her love for him. Sometimes the methods he chose to receive that affirmation were not ideal. For example, he once told her that a close friend of hers had died just to see her reaction, even though it wasn't true.
That's pretty...
Yeah.
Pretty psychotic right there.
Maybe just move on there, buddy.
Yeah.
It's just not worth it. And well, she needs to move on after that. What the fuck?
Yeah, I'd be like, if I was getting told
oh my God, if that
shit,
ever happened,
I'd be like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
oh, I literally would be like, I'm filing for divorce right now. What the hell are you doing?
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
So in 1951, the couple moved to Indianapolis, where he finished his schooling at Butler University. Mind you, he was only 20 years old at the time of all this. He then seeked out the Communist Party chapter in Indianapolis, to which he found and joined. When asked about his religious pursuits, Jones said quote, "How can I demonstrate my Marxism? Infiltrate the church." And so begins Jim Jones's rise to infamy.
Infiltrate the dealer, find
Find
the
the
supply.
Yes.
That's crazy, though. It really is.
So, yeah. I mean, what are you thinking so hard?
Right now, I'm thinking he knows exactly how to manipulate people already.
Mm-hmm.
He knows exactly the route he's going to take to do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's a scary thought. He knows, like, his exact plan. I don't think, well, maybe the first Heaven's Gate.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Charles Manson had a plan initially. Yeah. I think it came to him later. This guy, he's got a full-blown plan.
Yeah, I think...
which makes him that much more scary. At least in my eyes.
It's definitely wild. Yeah, it's definitely wild. People's Temple, The Beginnings. So believe it or not, Jim Jones announced in 1952 that he was going to become a Methodist minister. Despite his constant arguing about religion with his wife, he had said, quote, "The church was ready to put real socialism into practice," end quote. So in the summer of that same year, Jim was brought on as a student pastor to the young children at Somerset Southside Methodist Church. During this time, people actually came to love him. He seemed a good man, and he even started a project to build a playground that would actually be open to all races, which wasn't common back then. Then came the controversy. Apparently, Jim Jones was let go from his student pastor position due to them finding out that he was stealing church funds. While that was the reason to the public, Jones himself said that it was because the church was angry about his attempt to bring in people of different races. So he was calling racism. The thing about it, though, was even though Jones was committed to the Methodist Church, it didn't stop him from exploring other religions and denominations. He would often visit the Pentecostal church in town. When he was released from his student pastor position at the Methodist Church, he got fucking fired from the Pentecostal church as well. He decided to end up heading to Columbus, Indiana, where he attended the Pentecostal Latter Rain Convention. There, he met a woman. The woman seemed to be enamored with Jim. Her constant staring and shyness made Jim question her. When he did, she told him something that would change Jim's life forever. And unfortunately, a hell of a lot of other people as well.
What did she say?
The woman told Jim that she saw him in her dreams, that he was a prophet with a great ministry.
So she just fed him this huge thing that just probably boosts the shit out of his ego.
Which was already probably pretty big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, exactly. Mm-hmm. This is what I've been looking for. Tell me what I need to do and I will do it.
Yeah. So Jones, while obviously surprised by the revelation, not only didn't turn it down,
of course he didn't,
but fully embraced the so-called prophecy. His entire demeanor changed. He acted prideful and mellow-headed. He even took to the podium and delivered a message to the crowd, one of healing and hope. So she said something to him, and he basically just took it and said, yeah, we're fucking, like, I'm going to act like a prophet. If one lady is telling me this, like, I could get everybody,
Mm-hmm.
So he returned home and successfully convinced Marceline to leave the Methodist Church and join the Pentecostals. He began preaching at the Laurel Street.
So he's still with his wife.
Yes. He began preaching at the Laurel Street Tabernacle in Indianapolis. Jones was super into healing revivals, which was a popular movement back in the day where people would quit their sins, like entertainment, and focus more on their relationship with God. But in 1955, a new pastor was assigned to the church, and he enforced a ban on the healing revivals. So Jones left and created his own church titled Wings of Healing, which eventually morphed into the infamous People's Temple.
You know what fascinates me more than anything?
Yeah. Talk to me, Goose.
Is how religion and the church were just so big and such a big deal back in the day. Yeah. And now in today's world, I feel like it's not anymore. No one really cares. Yep. I mean, you got some people that definitely are devoted Christians or whatever religion you are, right? But it's definitely not like it used to be.
Yeah.
And I just find that insanely kind of crazy.
Yeah. I mean, people have gotten more, I guess, or less religious, I would say, as,
over generations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, back then it was a huge deal. And I mean, it still is, I'm not harping on anybody who believes, of course,
but it's definitely not as big as it used to be.
Yeah.
Because I can remember, my grandparents, they would always go to church. My parents would go to church.
Yeah.
I was I went to church sometimes, but I wasn't forced to go to church.
Yeah. Same.
And when, I got older, I just don't really go anymore. Whether that's, bad or good, I don't know. It's interesting to think about, like, why is that?
Yeah.
That's like the question I have. It's just why.
Today, Jake and I are tackling religion.
Well, it's a big theme.
Huge disclaimer.
It's a big theme.
No, but it is. And I think like my thoughts on everything, because I've had this debate a lot now. You guys are going to learn a little bit here about good old Cal and his beliefs. But, I used to believe, I used to be a Christian, not like a crazy Christian. No, I'm not saying, I mean like really into it, like crazy into it. And then I took a religion course and in college, and I was like, it changed my whole vibe on like religion itself. But I also think like I do believe that there's like a higher power. I believe that there's like a heaven. I told you my heaven is Star Wars. Everybody should know that by now. I'm gonna wake up one day on Tatooine. It's gonna be sick. Hopefully there's multiplayer servers so I can be like, yo, Jake, Jabba wants us to do a bounty. Let's fucking go. Like that would be sick.
The races are today.
The pod races. Jake just watched The Phantom Menace for like the first time in
a long time.
Yeah. He was like, the pod racing. Now that's pod racing. Yeah. So basically, I do believe, in ghosts and things like that. So obviously I believe there is something after, but do I believe that like a guy named Moses took a staff and like parted a fucking sea? I don't know. Probably not. Like that's just my personal thing.
It just seems like a really good story.
Yeah.
Right.
Now look, here's the deal. If that happened, that's sick as fuck.
That would be sick.
Like that would be really cool to witness.
That means cool. Magic exists.
Yeah. Which like, where is it? I want it. Like I want to master it.
Brainwashed.
Where's like the wizarding school and stuff? I want that shit.
You're not a wizard, so you don't know.
That's true, dude. Yeah. I can't just walk into a damn.
You don't have the magic powers.
Where you at,
if you
Hogwarts?
saw it, they're erasing your brain from ever knowing that it existed.
What's my midichlorian count, bro? I need to.
You need to watch Fantastic Beasts because they do a lot of brain erasing in that movie.
Oh, okay.
Like if people see like true magic and stuff,
I guess it's true.
Like,
you'll never know if you got Men in Black or whatever. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
exactly.
It is crazy.
You'll just wake up one day going, "What the fuck happened?"
Yeah, could just be a dream. No, but I guess my point is though, it's like I do believe in this stuff, but I think that there's a certain point where, like, I believe in the values that like Christianity teaches. Mm-hmm. Like really just like being a good person to other people and trying to make, yourself better and trying to do things. Look at that. We're a motivational podcast now, but no, like
themes,
trying to make yourself the best version of what you can be and then looking out for everybody else. And I think that that's a really good way to get through life.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree.
The unfortunate thing is that I have been, every time I open up my heart, I just get fucking stomped on. Any of you ladies want to take care of a big, strong man? I'm kidding.
He's not.
Probably just leave me anyway. Anyway, I can't wait to look back on this episode soon and just be like, Cal, you fucking idiot. Anyway, no, the point is though, is like, I do think like just be a good person. And I think that that's a big thing.
That's a big value though.
Yeah.
It really
try to look out for other people.
Literally,
most people are
treat
selfish.
Others the way you want to be treated is like the biggest motto.
Yeah.
I think
that you have to be a little bit of a little selfish, like when it comes to things,
because trust me, you do.
Yeah, you have to.
You have to.
But there are also certain times when it's like, you have to try to find a balance, and it's not easy to do.
Because you don't want to get walked on, but you also don't want to,
be a dick.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's definitely a balance, and it's something that people struggle with. But I do think that religion usually is supposed to teach you kind of that, that kind of lesson. But back in the day, religion was strictly like, it's religion. We believe in all of this shit. I mean, you could be all these different denominations and stuff. I'll be honest with you. I don't know the difference. like you're a Christian, but then like, what's the difference between like a Christian and like a Lutheran? Like, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure.
I think it's just the way they like preach. I think.
But like, why?
I don't know.
Isn't it like the same thing? What's the difference between Catholic and Christian?
Catholics like.
Isn't Christianity like a version of Catholicism? Or am I completely wrong?
Dude, I am not vast in
You know how many
religion.
people are probably like, fucking idiot. It's Catholicism.
See, this is the problem, though, is because I didn't go to church. I don't know a lot
have
of
no
this
idea.
stuff.
Yeah.
But also,
I don't either. But
my family comes from Catholic. There's my mom's Methodist. Like, so we never went to one.
I know.
I just did it. So.
Yeah. So, but the point
I
is,
consider myself a Christian because of the value.
yeah,
but I don't
the
go
values.
to church,
Yes.
right?
Yes. So again, we're not trying to sit
There's
here and
differences.
preach religion.
There's differences,
But
there are.
Yes, we're basically just trying to say that religion used to be a really important thing. So much so to the point where, yeah, how you preach and stuff is like
I think it was just like
different
who you
thing.
believe in, right? Like who's your God, basically,
Yeah, I guess, huh?
right?
Yeah.
Because maybe to some, our God is not their God, right? And
Yeah.
that's the case for like,
Odin.
yeah, exactly.
Anyway, yeah, getting back into this though, I think this is kind of my way to wrap this up. That's the whole thing about Jim Jones, and obviously we can talk a bit more about this, but this is my kind of analysis on the whole thing. So, I just want to say, for starters, it seems like Jim saw from a young age that people latch onto religion so like tightly, and he was constantly researching other religions. He, found what was going to bring in money, people, loyalty, and these healing revivals that he would do, they would bring in a shit ton of money.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to be honest. I believe Jim Jones was a very smart man.
Well, it's
good man? Not at all.
It kind of seems that way.
But for his entire life, he found that religion was the key to gain not only a massive following, but immense power. Power that he would eventually use to destroy a lot of people's lives. And we will get into that in the next episode.
One closing thought I have
Yes.
is kind of jumping back a little bit to my comment about how scary this guy is.
Yes.
Because, and then you said it yourself, he seems like a very smart person.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's pretty clear. And through all his troubled youth and all that, he's found a way to do what he thinks is good or whatever he wants to do, whatever. Yeah. And devised this plan from a young age to where he was at the end of his life and knew exactly how to do it, the steps to take to do it, how to get there, and all of the in-betweens. And that is why I think this cult is one of the most horrific cults that we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
Because he's such a scary person.
Well, wait until we get into the next shit because good God, man, it's wild. But it's, this guy, I think, from a very young age, he saw that people were really into religion and he goes, I want to be the guy that these people are worshiping. And he studied every religion. He, was on different paths, like the doctor thing, and
you can't say he didn't give things a try, right?
Still found his way back to religion.
Yeah.
And then some random ass lady said, oh yeah, you're a prophet. And all of a sudden
that fuel just is crazy because
kickstarted him to get up on stage in front of this whole fucking convention and talk about that, and just talk like a god, and people loved it. It's like
it's so wild.
You know what's actually funny? So, bringing this is actually kind of weird. I know they make a joke about it, but so in The Office, there's a episode where Dwight, he wins like best salesman or whatever in the region, and he has to go up and speak at an event. And at first he's like, oh, it's just a speech. And then Michael kind of stresses him out. Like, this is like the biggest speech of your life. So then he starts freaking out. And Jim, always is fucking with him. And he prints out a bunch of like how to win people over and stuff. And basically he gives it to Dwight saying like, here's how you make a good speech. And well, it was from like all these dictators like Mussolini and all this kind of stuff. So it was like Dwight is sitting there and he, you know, reading all this stuff, and it's kind of like how to be a dictator. So at the end of the episode, when he's at the speech, he kind of like freaks out a little bit, but then he goes up there and he starts like shouting really loudly and like smacking the table and like waving his arm. And eventually like people are kind of looking around at first, like, what the hell? And by the end, he's got everybody like, yeah, yeah. And it is true. It's like when you're passionate,
people feed off of your passion.
Exactly.
They do.
And think about it. That was the thing in World War II with Hitler. He was elected because of that, right? Like people literally were like, oh my God, this dude he's passionate. He wants to bring it's weird
if you
how
bring
like
passion and a different perspective, people will probably jump on board.
Well, it's weird how like the dictator mindset is something that works.
Well, it works for a reason.
It's weird.
It's not great,
No,
but it does work.
It works. And so we've seen it work on a large scale with, you know, Hitler and stuff, but now we're seeing it on a smaller scale with freaking Jim Jones.
Mm-hmm.
And the next episode it's going to be a nasty one, everybody. So, I mean, I'm sure you all know good old Jonestown. So definitely stay tuned for that. Yes, this episode is a bit shorter, but it's a 2-parter, so it's really just...
It's okay. It's all good.
It's a 2-parter.
It's fine. It's brought to you by SPN Productions, so...
Yeah, if you guys... I don't know if it'll be out yet, but if you guys want... We have some short films out, so if you want to go and check those out, that'd be sick.
That is true. Yeah, this one...
Be like late August.
Oh, yeah. It should be close.
I would say either this one or the next episode, it should be out.
Yeah.
Now, again, we could totally be wrong, and it could be pushed to like September or something, and you guys will have no idea what the hell we're talking about, but...
Be on the lookout, though.
Be on the lookout. If it's out, cool. If not, then...
We're going to have some fun behind-the-scenes stuff there, too. It's going to be pretty nice.
Yeah. So...
I'm pretty stoked for it.
Anyway.
But yeah, Colts are bad.
Well, it's actually funny.
Is it funny?
Well, not that, but the girl that I was kind of talking to. This is on topic, so it makes sense.
All right, I'll listen to see how it's on.
Well,
topic.
remember, I told you this, that there was one time she said something about how she doesn't like movies, which, by the way, I can't believe that. I mean, I don't even know why I tried this shit.
Movies?
I don't know why I tried this shit, man. I'm like, my whole job is going to be like watching horror movies and shit. So I don't even know why the hell I'm doing that. But therapy by Cal. Anyway, she was talking about how she thinks that Hollywood is like a cult. Like people follow these celebrities and shit, which I agree. I mean, I do agree that we do. Like paparazzi and shit. What is that? Why are we following people? Like, okay, it's cool. Like, hey, I met like Vince Vaughn or some shit, but like, just say what's up and then move on. Like, he's just a guy.
Because people buy their picture when they're doing some weird shit.
It's just, I don't know. It's strange.
They're just trying to expose people, which is just so weird.
Yeah, it's like, why do you want to do that? I don't get it. I don't know.
It's just how it goes.
Anyway, the point is, I do kind of agree with what she said, but then I was like, yeah, I know. Isn't that weird? I'd never be part of a cult. And she's like, well, I think sports are cults. And I was like, the fuck? And she's like, yeah, you're a Dolphins fan.
I think we said this last episode.
Did we?
I thought so.
Well, we're saying it again. Essentially, the point is she said that I was in a cult because I like the Dolphins a lot.
I would definitely say I'm in a cult because I like the Bucks.
I literally was sitting there and at first I was like, that's kind of offensive. And then the more she told me about it, I go, okay, you might be right, because I buy hella. It's an every week kind of thing.
Yep.
Yeah, our mood depends on what happens. We follow them.
It's just
blindly.
Like I'm pretty sure I said this before, and I will say it again.
We have matching clothes.
It's a Sunday.
It is.
It's just what we do.
Yeah, and yeah, we yell, we shout, we cheer with people across the nation, and. Yeah, so I think, it is a cult if you look at it in a certain kind of light, but man, go Dolphins.
Can we go back to not liking movies? The hell?
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Yeah, I don't know. It is what it is. But anyway, guys, we hope that you've been enjoying the content that we've been putting out. We're definitely experimenting, so that's fun.
That we are.
Yeah, if you are listening on Spotify and stuff, you know what? First, I do want to say shout out Tuna. Tuna, you deserve a shout out because you are the GOAT. Tuna has been following us
since probably day one.
Yeah, quite some time. And I just want to say we really appreciate you, man. Like, you're the GOAT for sure. Helped us out there was one episode where, I guess we couldn't hear my audio, and Tuna let us know quite quick, and that was sick. So yeah. So Tuna, thank you.
Thank you.
And yeah, anyway. Yeah, if you guys want to know more about SPN Productions, we have our website. Go check that out. If you have any horror ideas, go submit them to us, because then you could be under the SPN Productions label. We have a short film out right now called Mara that is from some people who submitted to us. So if you guys want to be like them and have your project shared with a growing audience, let us know.
Yep. You can find all the information on the website, which will be linked down below. So,
yeah. Also, if you want to follow Jake and I's personal lives, follow our regular socials. Sorry that the last 10 minutes of this has been just kind of like a plug for us, but we have good shit. So check it out.
That we do. And we appreciate you for coming along with us on this journey.
Yeah.
It's always fun.
Oh, you know what? I want to start like a Google Doc or something to where people can send in like cases they want us to tackle.
Yeah.
So if you guys have something like that, I mean, I guess we can set it up or just DM us. Yeah, but that'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, so. DM us.
Anywho, all right, guys. We will see you back here next week, and we will wrap up the cult month and talk about some pretty depressing shit. So, bye, guys.
Bye.
See you around the graveyard.
Thanks for listening to this chilling episode of The Supernaturals. For your protection, make sure to like and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. And stay tuned for the next episode.